I'm Ben Mankiewicz. Thanks for joining us on TCM, where we're in the midst of another lineup of stories set in Texas. We're doing this every Thursday night in April. Up next, we're headed to the capital, Dallas, for a landmark indie film written, directed, and produced by Richard Linklater. I'm just making sure you're paying attention. Capital is Austin. The movie is set there. From 1990, also featuring Linklater in the cast, Slacker. Richard Linklater was at the very beginning of his filmmaking career when he shot Slacker in 1989, but this idea had been fermenting in his creative mind for years. According to Linklater, the idea came to him late one night while he was driving, and he began to imagine what it would be like to tell a story that moves from one character to the next without spending more than a few minutes with each one. 6 years later, he got the chance to make that film. As I mentioned, Slacker is set in Austin, Linklater's hometown, and moves through an ensemble of dozens of oddball characters, focusing on each one briefly before picking up with a different person in the scene, then following them. Characters are mostly young 20-somethings who lack any real ambition. I mean, they're slackers, but they're remarkably eloquent, even intellectual, if eccentric. Linklater made the film on a budget of just $23,000, most of which came out of his own pocket and from friends and family. He organized the film's premiere in Austin in 1990. The city and its vibrant artistic community embraced it. Word of mouth made it a significant local hit. The film eventually found its way to Sony Pictures co-founder Michael Barker, who picked it up for wider release through Orion Classics a year later. It went on to gross more than $1 million and became one of the key films in the American independent film renaissance of the 1990s. From writer-director Richard Linklater in 1990, this is the TCM premiere of Slacker. Slacker is the second feature film from writer-director Richard Linklater. He followed it with another ensemble piece set in Austin, Texas, Dazed and Confused, from 1993. It's a memorable coming-of-age film about high school students on the last day of school. Dazed and Confused had a much more cohesive story than Slacker and a much bigger budget, more than $5 million, but it maintained the inventive, independent feel that Linklater has made his own. It also helped launch the movie careers of several big-name actors, then unknowns, including Ben Affleck, Parker Posey, Cole Hauser, and Matthew McConaughey. Richard Linklater was born in Houston, but moved to Austin as a young man, and he's described the city in these terms. If you grow up in a small town in Texas or in the South and you're different, Austin is a place to escape to. Since making Slacker in 1990, Linklater has become one of the most successful and celebrated filmmakers working in America. 3 of his other experimental films have earned him Oscar nominations: Before Sunset, Before Midnight, and Boyhood. Rather than live in Hollywood, Linklater has always preferred to stay in Austin, where he runs his own production company, Detour, named after the 1945 Edgar G. Ulmer film noir, because Richard Linklater is also a serious classic movie fan. Back in 2014, he appeared as a guest programmer on TCM with Robert Osborne, where he introduced some of his favorite classics, including a movie he's often cited as one of his favorites, Some Came Running, directed by Vincent Minnelli, with Frank Sinatra, Shirley MacLaine, and Dean Martin. Coming up, another indie giant. Actor Harry Dean Stanton plays a dad trying to reconnect with his wife and son in a 1984 drama written by Sam Shepard. Paris, Texas, directed by Wim Wenders, is next on TCM.
Next on TCM, Paris, Texas, then The Southerner, and later Lust for Life. TCM is irresistible tonight.